Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. We're going to talk about boxed marketing. We're going to talk about boxed marketing because I am all done with boxed marketing. So, words have a thing about them that a lot of people don't know. Words are actually tools to steer, direct, point, and maneuver your perspective scope. Every time you say a word, you are focusing in your zoom on your perspective scope. Just a minute, the cat's being cute. Psst, 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 psst. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Where's your fishy? Where's your fishy? Okay, I'm gonna be an adult now. Every time you say a word, it absolutely focuses your perspective scope right on whatever it is you just said, and it stays there. It doesn't continue going back, zooming around, it stays there. Every time you see marketing or you hear something, it immediately sharpens and redirects your perspective scope. So if somebody says something, it will immediately, and if it's wrong, it's a red herring. Every wrong word you hear is a red herring. So that every time you get wrong information, your perspective scope zooms in on the red herring. You're fucked. There's just no way around this. You have to identify the red herring, realize that your spoke is focused on the wrong thing, and you have to figure out what the right thing is and then redirect it. Now, I know this like on a level. I know this on a level. And everybody else in the world does not. No one else knows this. So I figured out all the right words to keep my scope where I want my scope. This is one of the things I teach, is how to keep your scope where you want it. And every now and then, and I've cleaned out my scope a lot. I have cleaned out my scope so much that now my scope is open, it's scanning, it's wide, because I know the words to say to get this thing zooming all over the place. And every now and then it'll get stuck and I'm like, what's going on with my scope? And I get frustrated. So I get into my scope and I'm going over everything and I figure out what it is. And I realized 99% of this is the core of my beef. 99% of the things that clog my scope were said by professionals, not my abusers, professionals. Professionals. Most of it comes from psychology, where psychologists say stupid shit like, you shouldn't be alive. They've said this to me. Or imagination is your dissociation. Or you're not possible. Or you really shouldn't be doing that. I have been gaslighted by my therapists more than anybody else. And then I've got these professional business people, and they're all telling you what you need to do. They are right now my biggest problem because, oh my God. And I've got this whole get the scope right where they say you've got it. I want to tell you a story. In 2015, I built my first business. Now, I got lucky. I cannot, holy shit, did I get lucky? I had an idea, and the idea was so good that I ended up selling the idea before I even had a brand or a business. I had a line of people buying before I had a brand or a business. So I thought, oh, business is easy. This is the way it's done. No. And when I went back to recreate that, I couldn't. And I'm like, why can't I recreate this? Why isn't it falling into place like it did the first time? So I had to analyze the science of what I did the first time to replicate it. Oh, I got it now. And I had this one hitch, this one, what makes money? And I'm running all over with my perspective scope and I've got professionals. Oh, this makes money. I zoom in. And then I'm like, no, that's not right. I changed the scope. So now I'm over here. This makes money. No, it's not working. And so I zoom in over here and I'm like, all right, that's not working. So I know when I get bad advice or a red herring, I can tell within about 2 weeks if my scope is on the wrong thing. 2 years. 2 years. It took 2 years for this one gentleman, love him to pieces. I sit down with him and I'm discouraged. 2 years of talking to a bunch of noisy know-nothings for them to be moving my scope all over. 2 years of their red herrings. So I sent him an email prior. I'm like, look, this is my back history. This is what I'm working on. if you can't help me, please just tell me. I don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste my time. He goes, he says, I'm very impressed with the email. I think you're going to like what we got. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking he's either telling me what they all have said or he really has something. So I get in there and he's an older gentleman. He looks to be in his 60s. And I'm going, he's old school. Now, one thing I've learned is old school is the worst because they're the ones who invented all the stuff that doesn't work anymore. The next people after that are the people who are just repeating all the stuff that doesn't work anymore. So I'm just like, all right, open mind, I can do this. And I talked to him within 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, this guy knows his shit. And I told him, I'm like, you're different. I'm like, you are so different. He gives me one word. He goes, your calendar. I want my calendar. He goes, if your calendar is empty, you're not going to make money. Your calendar is it. He goes, your calendar is empty. It's not important. It's urgent. You have a dying company if your calendar is empty. I felt my scope, boom, immediately, hone in, all the logical cues, check, 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 check. Did all of the checks and balances work out? Yes. All the times my calendar was full, I was making money. All the times my calendar was empty, I wasn't. There's the switch. And I went 2 years to find the one word. 2 years to find the one word for my focus to be right where my scope needs to be. It's how I know when somebody's a professional or not. It's how I know when someone's an expert or not. Is an expert knows where my scope belongs. That's how I know that's how I know all the psychology is bullshit, is because the scope is all wrong. This is how I know. This is how I know. Because I had to have my scope on the right things to fix my mind. And when I fixed my mind and I had my scope aligned to every single point in the right order of operations, I went, there's the formula for mental health healing. Let's see if it works on all the other ones. And I went through, I did, and it did. And I went, well, there you go. I have the formula for mental health healing. I have the formula for mental health. And the formula and the words required in the right order of operations for my scope, not one fucking psychologist had it. Not one. They're throwing my scope all over the place. And I'm going, what the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be an expert. They don't know. I sit down and I talk to educators. I know exactly where the scope needs to be for education because Plato. So I'm sitting here making sure the scope is aligned. Now, my scope for learning, let me show you the difference. Plato gave me his words, boom, right on it, good, done, the end. There was no bullshit. That's teaching. Plato said one word. I went, you got it, Plato. Boom, got it, done. Next. And he gave me the order of operations. Oh, this is easy. Yes, it was easy. So I'm following the order of operations by Plato and the strategic order that he gave them to me. No bullshit, because he's an expert, because he knows how to teach. And I'm going, boop, 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 done. That's an expert. And then I go to school. Now, I had a weird thing happen to me. I had 7 masters, not including Plato, 7 living masters. They could say things to me and boop, there's the scope. No bullshit. They said the scope. Now, one teacher, I wonder why. She was good. My English teacher was amazing. Holy shit, was she amazing. She's the reason why I can perspective shift. This woman would take one story, have you break it down in 10 different mediums. I want you to do a nonfiction. I want you to do a poetry. I want you to do an essay. I want you to do a book report. I want you to do a newspaper. I want you to do a sonnet in the style of Shakespeare. I want you to do a sonnet in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. Go. You have 2 weeks. Okay. She did that to us every month. Every book, every month. I had to write 10 different book-styled reports on one story. And boy, do you learn perspective. She never explained what she was doing, though. And that was interesting to me. She never explained it. She just said, do it. Okay. Oh, I did it. And you learned shit. So then I went over to my not masters. And they gave me a bunch of fish. They gave me, they're not just giving you a fish a day. They're giving you the wrong fucking fish. Let me tell you something. You feed a fish, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Plato teaches you how to fucking fish. I learned how to fish from Plato, the end. All right, I know how to fish. So Plato taught me how to fish. And then he taught me how to evaluate when other teachers can fish. I love you, Plato. So here's how to tell if a teacher can teach. Are they giving you a fish or are they teaching you how to fish? Teachers teach you how to fish. Second thing, this is the best part. A teacher, a bad teacher, gives you a red herring. Not just a fish, A red herring. So I know when I'm being, because Plato, I know when I'm being given a red herring, a regular fish, and bait. There's the difference. So I'm sitting here now going through educators and I'm going, you guys are a bunch of dumb fucks. You're all giving me red herrings because I can feel my perspective. So I can see my perspective scope. I know exactly. Plato aligned my scope. So I'm good. I'm good, people. I'm good. Plato aligned my scope. So my scope is right where it needs to be to learn. So whenever a dumb educator comes along and tells me, you need to put it over there. No. Did you study Plato? Did you learn from Plato? Because this man knew how to teach. He taught Aristotle. Did you teach Aristotle? No, didn't think so. So this is teaching. This is teaching. This is all it is. You can learn how to fish. You can feed a man a fish. Right now, we're in a society where you feed a man a fish and you cook it for him. And by the way, it's a red herring. That's not teaching. That's why everybody in the world is the way they are right now. So that's how I know psychologists are full of shit. And that's how I know educators are full of shit. Economists, I mean, come on. These are the people who can't even give us a stable economy. So that's the evidence I've got. That's the evidence you've got. The middle class is shrinking, which is the second symptom that the society is collapsing. There are stages of societal collapse. I have those too. So we're in the second stage of societal collapse right now. So I'm going, interesting. You'd think the authorities would care, but they're too uneducated by their own educators to even know. It's kind of funny. It is funny. I would be concerned, except I have a plan that I'm working on and it's going out there and it's already done. So we'll be fine. So I'm looking at the whole situation and I'm just like, okay, all right. In 2 years, expect there to be a significant problem with the dollar, by the way. Significant problem with the dollar. Like in 2 years, expect the government to say, the dollar bill is officially invaluable. We now have no money system and we're scrambling right now to figure out what to do. Yes, expect that in about 2 years. So I'm looking at all of this, just going, I know how to use words. I know how to put them where I need to put them. I get into the business world. Now, I give a lot of slack here for the business world for many reasons. First, there's no education. Not just no education, but the only education we have on how to be rich and successful is traditional economics, which is what the economists use to unstable and crash our society. So the rich people are the ones who figured that out real fast and went, okay, fuck that shit. I'm going to go figure it out. So they've been trial and erroring. Now, I have a whole lot of business professionals who've been trial and erroring. Now, there is the scripted cheat sheet way that is literally designed to psychologically fit into the fourth ethical perspective mindset only. That's what a lot of people don't know. So I'm going to translate this for you. The current business model only works on the fourth ethical perspective, only. We have the fifth ethical perspective who has modified it to make themselves rich. That's the fifth. The sixth ethical perspective finds it entirely intolerable and they have rejected it completely. They won't touch it. So the six ethical perspectives have gotten to a point where they're like, I'll be poor, I'll figure it out. And they have, and they are, and they do. That's not good enough for me because I want to be a billionaire because I got plans. So I'm looking at it going, well, I got to figure it out. Now, I'm not going to figure it out because everyone else has figured it out. And so instead of doing the same thing they're all doing, I interviewed all of them instead, and I collaborated and collected all of their data. And then I crunched the numbers, and then I looked for the common denominators. I put it in the right order of operations, and I went, oh, I've got the formula. Because that's what I do. Because Plato taught me how to learn. Thank you, Plato. So I've got the formula now for how to get rich. It's great. And I still got this stupid fourth perspective word that's dirtying up my scope. So I'm sitting here going, God, my marketing, how am I going to do this? So we're going to talk about this image. Image is actually never talked about in any of this. No one talks about image. They talk about reputation a little bit. It actually needs to be like a lot of bit. Reputation is a big one. It's basically your brand. but it's part of your brand. But it's the part of your brand that no one ever talks about. And there's a reason why. Your brand is built up of your quality, your reputation, and your image. 3 different things. Your image. And now I'm going to turn this over to me because this is my problem. My image is variety. That is my thing, is variety. That is my one word, variety. Now, I've got a bunch of fourth perspectives in their professional mindset telling me with their traditional business model, oh, you can't do that. You got to pick one thing and I'm going, it's not going to work for me. It's not going to work for me. And because they've told me this, my scope is all on their shit, but their shit doesn't work. Their shit does not work. And I'm going, what the hell am I going to do? And they're like, well, you got to keep changing it up. You got to keep changing it up because you're boring. You've got one thing that you're marketing to. So now you're in a boring loop, not getting their attention. I know what happens to the subconscious mind when you feed it the same thing every day. They get bored with it. That's right. So now they've got to figure out how to manipulate their marketing just to keep your RAS in your subconscious mind working. Reticulator, oh God, such an ugly word. Such a stupid, linguistics. The person who created this was not a linguist. Reticular articulation system. That is such a sloppy linguistics. The reticular articulating system is the thing that filters everything in your mind. It's literally your perspective scope. When I'm sitting here talking about red herrings and all that jazz, it's disciplining the RAS, and I know how to move my RAS like this. So my RAS is always moving. I've already got it open. I know exactly how to maneuver it. And whenever I focus in on a particular topic, my RAS hones right into whatever red herring some asshole threw me. And I'm like, why'd you fuck with my RAS? Stop fucking with my RAS. Stop fucking with my RAS. And that's why I'm so angry in life. That is why I'm angry. That is the summation of all of my angry videos, because people keep fucking with my RAS. Sometimes they do it on purpose. Sometimes they're just dangerously stupid. Sometimes it's the professionals. In most cases, it's the noisy know-nothings, the professionals who are going, I've got a degree. I'm going to say all the wrong shit to you to fuck up your RAS. I really am tired of people touching my RAS. And I know my RAS because Plato fixed it for me when I was like 12. And I went, thank you, Plato. Plato and I have a relationship. So I got my RAS. Life is grand. And then I'm like, all right, marketing. And then I hear those fourth perspectives and my RAS goes, oh, there it goes. No, RAS, they're idiots. We've already talked about this. We know they're stupid. Let's move the RAS over here now. Their methods don't work. It doesn't work for this reason. You got your RAS. You have to choose one thing to market and sell. Now that's going to bore your RAS. So your RAS is going to immediately whitewash it after a while. And it's just going to be, is that okay to say? I don't like saying it. That did not make me feel good. I did not like saying that at all. It's going to become blind. It's going to develop a blind spot to the one thing. So you have to change it up. So now you have to excite your RAS. So now they throw marketing at you. I had one woman say, choose one thing and do 7 varieties of that one thing. Well, that's stupid. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And she's like, well, you got to focus. You want to focus them. You don't know how to use a RAS. You guys don't know how to use a RAS. That's your problem. You don't know how to use a RAS. So you figured out part of it, but you got like 1/8 of the equation. And you're like, okay, you got to focus them. And then you got to have a RAS. You guys shut up. All of you just shut up. You don't know how to use your RAS. Not one of you studied Plato. So I'm going to teach you how to use your RAS. When you put variety as your RAS, that's your marketing. And you don't have to keep changing it up because it's variety. So your RAS stays interested. So now what you want to do is you want to market and package the variety show. They used to have these because people want variety. It's like you're feeding your customer peas every day. Just peas. All they get is peas. You got to find 7 different ways to sell peas to your customer, but you're never going to give them a different menu. Oh no, that's what you've done. Stupid marketing. Like I said, stupid. You give them peas. You got to have peas every night. Nothing else. Just peas, 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 peas. 7 different ways to have peas. They are going to hate you. This is why business is hard. You make it hard. Back in the 40s and 50s, we had variety shows. for this reason. So let me teach you how to use your Raz. First, you're going to make a variety show like Carol Burnett or Jimmy Carson or Mary Tyler Moore, or pick one. So you have a variety show. Now, I have my variety show. Oh, yes. Do I have a variety show? Now you're going to have to package and market your variety show. Well, guess what? This is where all of the professionals are going. You are the brand. I know I'm the brand. I'm on imagination. I am the brand. I know that. I figured that out when I first opened my first business way back when I went, wait a minute, people. So if I write a book and I call it Dollar and Shadow, I'm going to have to get a website. I'm going to have to brand Dollar and Shadow, and everyone's going to go over there and chase Dollar and Shadow. And then I make this book over here broken, and then I'm going to have to remarket that one, rebrand. Why would I do that? I brand me. So I branded me while all the other authors branded their books. You brand the author. That was the very first thing I learned. So I'm like, why would I do that? I'm just going to brand myself. So I'm the brand. I'm Anna. So Anna, I am the brand. Anna Imagination. Now, my last name is Anna. I'll get this. Give me a minute. My last name. See, my first name is Anna. My first name is Imagination. That's why this is hard for me. It's because I don't have a last name. Imagination. So my name is Imagination. So that's easy. Well, there's my variety. So here's how this works. My brand is Anna Imagination. And Anna Imagination means variety. So now it asks the question, what variety do I offer? Philosophy, my political theater. We're going to call it political theater. Political theater. My political theater. My political theater is when I talk about how much I can't stand all the professionals who love to tell me everything they don't know about the subconscious mind that they claim to be professionals over. So you have political theater, and you have the build a business. Oh my God, do I love talking business. I love talking about philosophy and the pilgrimage. I love talking about trauma and healing. You know what I love talking about? Fucking life. Life. That's what I talk about. I am life, the universe, and everything. So Anna Imagination's my brand. Variety is what I market, and it is life. Just life. And once I get rid of the box of suffocation and death, suddenly my Raz is like, oh, that makes sense. There you go. There's your image. Thank you. Thank you, Raz. See, so there I go. I've got my 3 key point words there. So I just did that for my Raz. I just told my Raz, okay, here's the order, Raz, because you have to give the order to your Raz. That's manifestation. You got to give your order to your Raz. You're not giving it to the universe, people. You're giving it to your Raz. Become very well acquainted with your Raz, and your life becomes so easy. The Raz is everything. The Raz is everything. If you are not the Raz's master, I am in charge, then you are the Raz's little bitch. And that's it. Either you are the Raz's little bitch or you are its master. Which is it going to be? We have a symbiotic relationship, my Raz and I. We get along very well. We've been doing this for a very long time. And that's it. Bottom line is, let's talk about the relationship that you have with your Raz. And because no one talks about it, it blows my mind. It is the most singular, popular, amazing thing. Like, of all the parts of your subconscious mind, this thing is like the holy grail of mental health. And not one of those dumb fucks knows how to look at it and go, oh, maybe we should look at the Raz. But these are the same dumb fucks who decided to shelve spiral dynamics in the 60s. So, yeah. All right. So when you decide brand, focal point, make it something with variety. And honestly, I would embrace it. There were like 80 variety shows back in the 60s because people need variety. They need variety. That's like the human condition, variety. Or you can eat peas every night in 7 different ways. You're making more work for yourself because you don't know how to use the Raz. You know how to use the subconscious mind, and life is easy. Life becomes your little bitch, or the other way around. So, yeah, that's about it. That's it right there. That's really it. I'm going to give Raz lessons. I actually do. This is something I do with my subconscious mind training. I have I have the user manual to the subconscious mind, and I teach that to people. And I'm going to be doing like a whole, we're going to just talk about the Raz, and I'm going to train you how to use this thing. Because once you understand how to use the RAS, oh, life is easy. I can throw my RAS, I can move my RAS, I can break my RAS into pieces and literally position them around all parts so I can get second perspective. It's amazing. You can do anything with your RAS if you know how. And once you, so this is how I discovered, this is really what the RAS comes down to. When you have multiple personality disorder, your RAS is what's jumping between all the personalities. That's it. Your RAS is the one that's jumping. Your RAS is your belief system. Your RAS is your logical code. Your RAS are all your words. It's your filter. It's literally the filter of your subconscious mind. Really, really powerful thing, the RAS. We're going to call it something else because reticular articulation system is really stupid. And the person who named that knew nothing about linguistics. If you're going to name something, study linguistics. I'd slap people for that one. Just slap them. All right. I'm gonna come up with something here. RAS. Reticular activating. Ugh. Reticular. It's such a hard thing to say. It's so ugly. I believe reticular is referring to the eyes. And I don't even know why. Etymology of reticular. Oh, it's a net. It's a net. That's right. I looked this up before because I'm like, what the hell is this garbage? Reticular. It's reticulate. It should be the reticulating articulation system. That's what it should be called, is the reticulate. It's reticulate. It's reticular. Ugh. Scientists use reticulate to describe a net-like formation of vein fibers. So it should be reticulate articulating. Reticulate articulating is what it should be called. Like I said, the linguistics really bothered me. Oh, reticular is so ugly. Okay, this is what happened, is they took the word reticular, which is Latin, but then the word articulating is English. And that's it. That's why it bothers me. Is because they took a Latin word and then they took an English word and they put them, you don't do that. That is linguistics number one. You either commit, you do all the word in English, or you do all the word in French, or you do all the word in Latin. You don't get to mix. You do not get to mix. No, 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 no. And like rule number one. So it's reticulate articulation system. That's it. I'm happy now. That's it. Reticulate articulation. I just needed to, yeah, see the logic. It's like, pick a code. I know, it's okay. And I'll tell you why. It's because every language is a code. So you have two codes in your mind. Now you've got cognitive dissonance. Every time I said reticular articulating system, I was like, whoa, cognitive dissonance. I know. And they're supposed to be psychologists. Dumb fucks. All right. If I can logically prove to you how stupid you are, I have the right to call you stupid. Correction, if you're going to be dumb enough to call yourself a professional. If you're modest, all right then. But if you're going to call yourself a professional or an authority, I have the right to use logic to prove to you how stupid you are. Or you need to stop calling yourself a professional. Now, people need to know how unprofessional you actually are. I don't like liars, I don't like predators, and I don't like abusers. And there's nothing more abusive than false marketing on a false title that you didn't earn. So yeah, I have a vendetta. Now, it's a net. It's literally a net. Like you are casting, you're fishing people. It's literally like fishing. It's a fishing net. You throw it out, you cast it, and you're fishing. So your RAS literally fishes. I'm going to say that again. Your RAS literally is you fishing. That's what you're doing. So the question is, where are you casting your net? That is really what the question is. Where are you casting your net? The words you use direct and focus your net. So if I say to you, well, I've done this exercise. And it's, if I give you an assignment, something to think about, you're going to immediately scan and look for it. And when you scan and look for it, you're going to block everything else out. Closed-mindedness means your RAS is closed. Open-minded means your RAS is open. It's just your focus. And if you know how to move your RAS, if you know how to focus it, you're set. Oh my God, you are set for life. Now let's take your RAS discipline. This is what I do. You take your RAS discipline and you combine it with story. And then you combine it with problem solving. There you go. That is the secret of my genius. That's it. I'm just really fucking good at it because I've been doing it for 30 years. So this is the secret of my genius. This is it right here. You take your RAS and you turn it into a submissive little bitch with a lot of love. And then you master storytelling, perspective shifts, and point of views. And then you learn logic and problem solving. And that's it. By the way, it takes about 2 years to learn all of this, max. It actually takes about 3 months. 3 months and you can be a genius. That's how I did it. This is taught. It is not learned. Or I'm sorry, it is taught. It's not something you're born with. You're taught. So RAS, story, problem solving. That's it. Now, if you have the ability to reverse engineer and see how things work, ooh, that's a good one too. How things work. Practice the skill, how things work. I'm giving you the genius formula, by the way. This is the God code. This is what I learned in Plato. This is what I figured out when I was 15. And that's when I had an IQ of 180. And I went, all right, I got this. So you take your RAS, you discipline that. And then you learn story. And the only way to learn story is the arts. You have to learn the arts. You learn story. You drink, you die, you breathe, you live story. And then problem solving. That's logic. That's it. And then really focus on how things work. Now, this is scientific method. Now, I love to throw in there the ethics because you don't do that. And, well, that makes you really smart, really dangerous, and learn the ethics. But you're not going to get power. Power is only available in the ethics. So you can be really smart and really stupid at the same time, which is what we have. So that is my genius formula. That is what I did. That is 100% what I did. It's really, really, yeah, it's about 3 months. It's about 3 months. And by the way, we already do all of this stuff, but we're not doing it in the right order of operations. Order of operations works. Absolutely. It's basically your brain, your subconscious mind is a projector, and it is a mirror, and is it a camera? And it follows 100% of all of those laws of physics to the letter. So if you study physics, just classic physics, it's like grade 1 high school physics. It's like basic physics. You don't need a lot of it. You put that together. Now, after you get this skill, that's when you're supposed to couple it with your life journey. When you add that to your learning before you go to high school, oh, it changes the game. It really changes the game. This is where the first thing you learn is, wow, I don't need a teacher. No, you don't. You just need this. You have this and teachers are out of a job. That's why they don't give it to you. Well, they don't give it to you because they're stupid and they don't know. And if they did, there you go. You don't need teachers. This is how you self-teach. So, and this is what Plato did. What Plato really taught was this. And then he gave them the learning atmosphere. That's all he did. He didn't actually sit there. I mean, he did teach all day, but because he loved teaching. And there were a lot of fucking students. And that's the same thing I'm doing with my system is here's the formula. Here's how to do it. Here's the DIY. I'm actually going to put this on my website. I'm going to do this like this morning. I'm going to put this on my website. So I'm going to call it, what am I going to call this? The genius formula. Yeah, the genius formula. I'll call it the genius formula. The genius formula. Make yourself really fucking smart. All right, I'll do it. The genius formula. And I'll put it in there. Order of operations matters. You don't do it in the right order. You skip one step, it won't work. It won't work. It's like trying to build a pyramid from the top down. I want you to really put that in your head. That if you do not follow the right order of operations, this is why what is it called? I can't remember what they call it in mathematics. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear and PEMDAS. That's what PEMDAS is. PEMDAS is the order. See, this is the other problem. There is the example, and then there's the actual theory. Mathematics in high school taught us just the examples and nothing else. They literally cut all the theory out because the theory is in logic. So here's a fun fact. Math is actually called logic part 2. It's logic part 2. You skipped logic part 1, which is why everyone finds mathematics confusing, is because you have logic part 1 and then logic part 2, which is called math. And Pythagoras, I love Pythagoras, another man who really did not know how to name things. I love him, but dude, he did not know how to name things. He's the one who named philosophy, and he's the one who gave us mathematics. But then there's geology, biography. Now that makes sense. Biography. I don't understand that, man. My work is called vitology. That's what this is. This is vitology. It's literally the logical study and science of life. All life. So it's vitology. That is what I have here. Vitology. That is my subject of study. Vitology. It's all of it. If philosophy really was supposed to be called anything, it should have been called vitology. But Pythagoras was not a linguist. It's like his only downfall. He did everything else in the world. He invented music. He invented the circle of fifths. He's the reason we have music theory to this day. He invented Pythagorean theory. He did math. He did geometry. He did philosophy. He did psychology. He did not do linguistics. I'm very disappointed in that man, and it shows. So, listen to me. I am disappointed in Pythagoras. I see. I understand now. Okay. All right. I understand now. Okay. The funny thing about arrogance is arrogance doesn't exist if it's true. It has been an ethical dilemma I have been running into since day one. And there is this thing. This has been really fucking hard. You've got your ethics. You've got your self-authority. And then you have humility. And this is, this is a paradox. We're going to call this a paradox. I'm trying to figure out the name for it. Ethics, self-authority, and humility. It's not humility, though. It's something else. Huh. You guys would call it imposter syndrome, but that's the wrong word. Imposter syndrome actually means something else. Imposter is not the right word. The right word is authority complex. But it's not a complex. It's a non-authority complex. So when you feel imposter syndrome, that's not the right word. You don't feel like a fake. What you feel is, I'm not authorized. That's really what you're dealing with. You're not authorized to step into that authority. And there's this concept, I call this slave mind. So this is really what it is. You have slave mind, you have self-authority, and you have ethics. And I'm very familiar with this because I've been a slave. So I know the feeling. And what it is a feeling of is you have your ethics, which is self-authority. And then there is your personal truth, which is, I'm a goddamn fucking genius among geniuses. And then there is the slave mind of, oh my God, if you do that, you're going to hurt somebody. Who am I hurting? The narcissist who wants the authority? That's who you're hurting. That's who you're hurting. That is who you are hurting. By claiming your own authority and truth, what you're really doing is hurting the narcissist who's taken your authority. That is imposter syndrome. But it's not called imposter syndrome. That's what the narcissists call it. What you need to call it is slave mind or non-authority syndrome. I don't like the word syndrome because it implies there's something wrong with you. No, there's not. You were abused by a narcissist piece of shit who's treating you like a slave. Stop using their language. Diagnosis are their language, by the way. So it's really the whole forbidden fruit. That's what it is. It's the forbidden fruit. There we go. That's so much better. It's the forbidden fruit problem. There it is. Boom, paradox. I knew I would find the words. This is the forbidden fruit paradox. We're going to talk about the forbidden fruit paradox in another message because this one, we got to take it over there. We're going to talk about the forbidden fruit paradox. And I got to go pet my cat because she's going bonkers. All right. Thank you so much. I have something I'm going to tell you. What am I going to tell you? If you want to contact me to figure out what it is I do, because I'm all over the place. I'm not all over the place. What do I want to tell you? What do I want to tell you? What do I want to tell you? Usually there's like a whole call to action. I'm going to give him a call to action. I knew I got to give him a call to action. If you want to, this isn't a call to action. This is you telling you, hey, if you want to figure out more, if you want to get involved, if you want to take advantage of any of my courses, if you want to figure out how the garden can help you, then contact me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Those are really the only two places. Yeah, LinkedIn or Facebook. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.